Quick public service announcement. This upload follows a new sequence that I'm going to be doing. I haven't decided if this is going to be a series, but I'm going to be doing this on certain projects going forward. And it's the idea of a preview, because some of these projects need at least a surface level view. They don't need the deep innards. They're just a high level scrub, quote unquote, of the project and an analysis of what the initial thoughts are, because the deep dive we know is going to take a little bit of time. The goal is to at least streamline some of the full coverage, because we've already covered some of the fundamentals, high level fundamentals up front. Things like the pre-sale, things like the white paper, things like some of these other analyses pieces that take a little bit longer. We're going to be extracting those into what we call as a preview of the project. This preview is simply to say, we looked at it at a high level. This is what we thought about it. What we ask is, if you have ones that are newer, mostly it's going to be the newer ones, but if you have ones that are newer where you'd like to have the preview done, let us know, cryptotalkradio.net, and we'll take a look at it. But for now, we've got a new project here we're going to go ahead and cover and do the preview for first, and then the actual full coverage we're going to be recording today in the update episode. So that'll publish in the full podcast. Then we'll publish that one on YouTube, probably on Friday is the guess, because we've got a lot going on. So without further ado, this was for Sphere Finance. We've actually had this audio since March 31st. So take it under the context of what was going on in March 31st in our initial preview of the project. We will then follow up with the full coverage of the project with today's podcast episode. So stay tuned for that. And then the YouTube version is going to upload probably on Friday, because we are open to that feedback. We are a people's podcast. As long as you're respectful, you will hear that we will acknowledge what you got to say, and we read every single one of them. But we got one, and this, I believe, came in today. I'm pretty sure it came in earlier today, like maybe an hour or so ago. That's what it says, yes. Came from Tim. Says, love your videos. Always enjoy listening to them, as your insights on various crypto projects are truly remarkable. I have a question. What are your thoughts on Sphere Finance? Their motto is that they aspire to be the S&P 500 of crypto. Thoughts? And then he has a second part question, but let me go ahead and address Sphere Finance really quick. We actually looked at Sphere Finance earlier this morning. After we had woken up, we got an alert about it, and we took a look at it. For those that don't know, Sphere Finance is on the Polygon chain. And I did a coverage a while ago about magic internet money. And this one strikes me as very similar to what they're trying to do with magic internet money, or at least try to do it correctly. There's a lot of complexity in their model. That's not a bad thing. I think the challenge is that they're catering towards a certain subset of the investor pool, not the common. That's primarily why I have not covered it, is because a lot of what they're doing gets really, really complex, really down in the weeds. But let me try to summarize it best I can. They're mostly around staking and farming together, plus a combination of that and what these other tokens like a Libero, Titano, etc. are trying to do as far as treasury concepts and that sort of thing. So they try to take all this and combine it to where there are multiple streams of funding inbound, and then there's multiple staking opportunities, collectively trying to minimize risk. The reason that they're talking about, and their tagline that they have, is the S&P 500 of cryptocurrency. The S&P 500, for those that don't know, that are not in the United States or not visible to it, the S&P 500 is an index, and what it does is it provides valuation for different projects, different companies, stocks. And there's S&P 500, there's Dow Jones, and then there's one other one, NASDAQ. So when you look at these indices, it gives you a sense of where the different companies happen to be. Their vision was, you buy this token and have it in your wallet, and it gives you access to other projects. The best analog I can give you would be an E-rate, E-R-E-I-T. I challenge you to go and search about E-rates and how they work. But let me quickly describe that, because I think it'll help you understand what Sphere Finance, the problem they're trying to solve. In an E-rate, what you're doing is you have a bunch of money that you put into an account. It's usually like a non-interest yield savings account. And from this money, you can invest in an E-rate, and the E-rate then is split usually across multiple real estate projects. So some of your money might be put towards some new apartment complex in Dubai versus some new corporate building over in San Francisco versus some new, oil rig something down in South Africa or something. So let's say $1,000 gets chopped up multiple different ways, and then it's sent to these different projects. And what they're doing is they're letting them borrow that money to complete their project with the promise of a return that's negotiated by the administration company. And then the returns are sent back to you. So then it's like a compounding in a way, because you have multiple investments, but you're only visible the one investment package at the top. That's what they're trying to do with their token, is that their single token is getting exposure to all these other tokens that they've chosen in the fund index. So them being an S&P 500 cryptocurrency, I don't put much faith into the statement, only because you're saying something that can't be true. Like, if we're honest, the S&P 500 cryptocurrency today truly is CoinMarketCap by definition. But if we were to say the E-rate of crypto, okay, that's very close to what I see them doing. Take a look when you get in a moment at E-rates and how they work, and I think you'll see parallels in what they're talking about and this sphere of finance. It's not a bad investment that I can tell. However, I haven't done too much deep investigation in depth. There's not, for me, enough to say that it is or isn't a scam. I can tell you that there's a lot of issues with taxes in these projects that hold them back from where they could be. In other words, what I'm saying is that this one has strong potential, but its tax structure may hold it back in the short term based on the way that they did it. People think that it's a copy of Libero, and that may be the case, and that's why people are kind of turned away from it versus what they should be. I'm not sure. I haven't dug deep into it. I will look deeper into it at some point. Right now, I just said, let me marinate a little bit, and then I'll do a coverage on that one.